veľa vecí, lebo proste ne, ale poďme rovno na to. Tak ideme najprv. Yung Filly. Kto nepozná Yung Fillyho, tak proste známy anglický spevák, youtuber, streamer, proste najviac proste rapper, hej, kto pozná túto pesni. Neviem, že či ju vôbec môžem hrať, ale tak, keď tak prejdeme na kick. Nevadí. Teda Twitch. Hej, Yung Filly, keď si napíšeme, jeho najznámejšia teraz pesnička. Hej, na toto pesnička, proste je to tento tu typek a mal veľmi zlú kauzu, na ktorú si dneska pozrieme, len neviem ktoré video, toto je asi najnovšie, tak uvidíme, že End of Yung Filly, pozrieme si toto video, proste toto je Yung Filly. Nedávno minulý víkend, alebo minulý týždeň cez víkend mal proste nejaký koncert v Austrálii a že vraj tam sa stala taká nepríjemná vec, kde mal že vraj neviem, že či môžem to hovoriť, to slovo, takže snásilnil nejakú pod 20, alebo nejak tak približne v 20 ročnú alebo viac ročnú proste typku nejakú, hej. Dievča, ktoré bolo proste v Austrálii a proste nejak takže čož je ho pri tom, že vraj prichytili. Ja aj toto, neviem, uvidím, jak to urobím. Takže mňa to zajíma extrémne, že čo sa vlastne deje s ním, lebo
od 11. rána do 11. rána.
Takže neviem, čo sa s ním deje, ale že vraj toto sa stalo a veľa ľudí to rieši, že vraj aj sidemeni, čiže to je taká skupina, tak tá skupina zrušila jeden z ich známych sérií, kde bol on, takže neviem. Má aj strašne veľa spolupráci ten Filly, reálne má spolupráce s omáčkami, s rôznymi vecami, čo si proste predstavíš, on má proste spoluprácu. OK, poďme na to.
Morning, the world woke up in shock after yet another YouTuber. This time, Yung Filly is facing it very serious.
Že vraj ho proste niekde uchytili a tak bol proste za jedno proste.
Allegations. Not only was he arrested today, but he was also charged with raping a woman in her 20s in a hotel room in Perth. And honestly, the fallout from this could be insane because not only is he part of this huge friendship group of some of the biggest creators in the world, but he also works with some of the biggest brands as well, like BBC, ITV, Meta.
Pozri, vidíš, Adobe, Captain Morgan, BBC, Meta,
and even charities like the Prince's Trust. Are his friends gonna defend him or abandon him? Will brands decide to drop him? Did he even do it? Well, that is all what we're gonna go over today. So, like the video and let's get Now, similar to America, Australia is made up of different states with their different laws. And prosecutors allege that this incident happened at a hotel room after performing at a nightclub in Perth for his Australia tour. So, because of this, they
že mal nejaký austrálsky túr. Tam mal
they actually had
danú osobu. Čože kamo, fucked up. Akože nebudem klamať, je to dosť dodrbané, kamo, reálne. Prečo by si proste len tak... Ale to furt v dnešnej dobe. Tento rok je len proste líkovanie celebrít na internete. Ale v zlom zmysle.
had to extradite him back to the state that this... Oh, because of this, they actually had to extradite him back to the state that this happened. And as you can see, this is the video of him in an airport coming back from Queensland, Brisbane, where he was at, to Western Australia to face trial. And as you can see, he's handcuffed there, being led by a couple of police officers and put into a car. Now, before we go into details of what was alleged in court that actually happened, and warning, because they're pretty gruesome, I feel like for anyone who isn't as familiar with Yung Filly needs to understand the magnitude of this. Because him being arrested is not just going to affect his career deeply, but you have millions of his followers that look up to him. He's also part of
3,2 milióna na Instagrame a 1,84 milióna na YouTube. Nechcel by som o toto prísť, kámo, reálne, ale tak za to si môže sám, keď tak máme reálne povedať. Ak je to pravda, lebo pozrieme druhé video, ak je pravda, že toto urobil, tak akože akože jeho vina.
Up to him. He's also part of this huge friendship group in the UK that are some of the biggest creators in the world. Like the Sidemen, the Beta Squad. He's got a podcast with Chunks. He's also doing a lot of work in traditional TV. Like he's got his own show with the BBC called Hot Property. He's got another show with Channel 4 and Harry Pinero called The Filly and Harry Show. He's featured in a bunch of Sidemen videos, some of which have got over 80 million views, and his dedicated ones with them have over 40 million views. He played in the Soccer Aid match on ITV.
Ten, že 20 žien a to je strašne nevhodné, vieš, keď to robí.
He was in the Great Celebrity Bake Off. He's got his own music, which gets millions of streams every month, and he goes on tours, as he was doing in Australia, always working with massive brands. Like he's got his own sauce with Heinz. He's worked with Meta, the British military, Adobe, Captain Morgan, and a bunch of others. And he even works with charities like Stand Up to Cancer and even the Prince's Trust to inspire young people to chase their dreams. So, point is...
Kámo, chápeš? Chceš ukázať ľuďom, jak... Ježiš, kámo, toľko spolupráci, toľko... Kámo, ľudí ťa proste sleduje. Niektorí majú z teba proste aj vzor, aj tak, a ty proste to jedným proste debilným rozhodnutím tak dodrbeš, že proste... Nechcem povedať, že čo urobíš.
The fallout for someone like this that is working with and affiliated to so many different people and brands, all of them are probably going to try and desperately now try and...
presne toto tu. 20 women versus one sideman, alebo one sideman Filly edition. Proste tam bol Filly a to video proste není. Ja som to video videl a teraz to tam že vraj není. Nekontroloval som to, ale počkej, môžeme to skontrolovať, že či tam to video vôbec je. Či ho pridali? A keď nie, tak proste neviem, no... Proste nevidíš, lebo furt to vyskočilo ako prvé video. Ale... Není tu, proste, není.
Protect their own public reputation. But we'll get back to that side of things in a second, because today he appeared in court where he's being charged with 4 counts of penetration without consent, 3 counts of assault occasioning bodily harm, and 1 charge of impeding a person's normal breathing or circulation by applying pressure to their neck, aka strangling. He couldn't pressure to their neck, aka strangling. He couldn't have just said that. A person's normal without consent. 3 seconds, because today he appeared in court where he's being charged with 4 counts of penetration without consent.
Štyrikrát.
Consent, 3 counts of assault occasioning bodily harm, and...
Tak, a... Čo ti dáva?
1 charge of impeding a person's normal breathing or circulation by applying pressure to their neck.
Chápeš? A som si všimol jedno z jeho... Dobre, ja som to nenahrával. Proste písal tu proste, že niekým proste stláčal proste krk. Sa mi zdá. Aha, toto tu. Čo ti dá proste? A jedno video bolo ukázané niečo také, kámo. Že jak to robil na speedovom streame niečo také urobil jednému dievčaťu. A toto keď urobil teraz fakt reálne, že proste impending a person's normal breathing or circulation by applying pressure to their neck. Proste on robil toto. Čo si dá... Nie, Filly, come on, man, ja som ho mal rád vo videa, come on, man, toto si nemohol robiť.
AKA strangling. He couldn't have just said that. And the prosecutors even attempted to oppose young Filly's bail application because they alleged that there was an extremely strong prosecution case supported by CCTV and photo evidence. And they basically are trying to make the case that he's not just some ordinary person being tried, and they don't want him to use his social media influence to impede the case. Prosecutors also showed pictures to the magistrate which were not shown in court, and in reference to what these photos depicted, they said, across her body is a history of violent acts. We say those photos and what is alleged is beyond the pale, beyond what could be considered a consensual act. Now, on the other side, Filly's lawyers are questioning the strength of the prosecution's case, because they are claiming that the girl didn't even raise any concerns about assault during a call with her friend at 5:31 a.m. Now, the case was adjourned for the day and he was granted conditional bail, but in those conditions are a ban on contacting his alleged victim or posting anything about this whole case to his millions of followers on social media. Now, it goes without saying, but the charges don't suggest that the allegations are proven. Rather, he will now be tried.
Ešte nie sú tie veci ešte úplne, že 100%, že či to fakt urobil, ale aj tak, keď to kam fakt urobil, what the fuck, man. Bro, na, toto nemôže, hej, nie, to je reupload, jo, viem, to ten reupload som ukázal, jo, čo si kokos, na.
In court, and he is innocent until proven guilty. When these sorts of allegations come out, it almost doesn't matter to the internet. The damage is done. I mean, you go on Twitter and people are already bringing up old clips of Filly interacting with women. And it's like, before the allegations, hardly anyone batted an eye at some of these. But now you see him getting arrested, and then there's hindsight, and you know, people see this with a whole different view, and it goes crazy viral.
Not crazy.
No, toto presne. Tento klip presne.
You choking her? You trying to kill her?
Hej, vidíš? Kámo, keď toto robil fakt, ale že už...
Not like a joke, it was more like a...
Že joke.
You know what I mean?
What the yeah, see, look.
What?
Yo, okay.
Monkey see, monkey do, bro.
All right.
Yeah. So you get the point. And I mean, there's no point in like showing you the other things that are floating around on Twitter, because that place, they are really just prepared to destroy lives, innocent or guilty. But the part that's going to be really crazy to watch is how other creators react or respond to these allegations. Are they just going to try and ignore everything and everyone until there is a verdict? Are they going to come out and try and defend him? Are they going to try and
Chunks sa takto zachoval, že ja neviem o ňom nič, a ešte si robili z toho srandu. Takže...
remove his videos where he made features? What are all these brands going to do? Because brands are notorious for being one of the first people to come out and publicly denounce anyone for anything. Man, because if you think about people, even like Russell Brand, and how everyone dropped him when, you know, he was accused of sexual assault, even from like 10 years ago. They closed his pub down. I mean, even YouTube removed him from the partner program. So from making any money for allegations alone. Allegations that I might add that have still not, you know, come to anything like him being charged or arrested or even amounting to any serious legal action. So if that's how they treated Russell Brand of allegations alone, how the hell are they going to treat young Filly when he's being charged and arrested? And it's not like it's going to be easy for some of these big creators to just...
Si predstav, že proste oni budú musieť, ak sa to fakt, oni budú proste musieť, najmä tomu, jeho, dajme tomu zo tej sideman Charity, čo majú sidemani vždy, ten futbalový zápas, kde sa nazbierajú veci. Díky Max za follow, kámo, 30 sledovateľov, damn, bro. Dali sme to potom oslavíme. Ale čo ti dáva, Si predstav, dajme tomu, hej, si na mieste sidemanov, kde ho majú tiež vo viacerých videách, i beta squad, a ty tieto všetky videá, ak fakt sa zobria, že sú fakt reálne, tak tie všetky videá pôjdu do prdele akurát tak, ale že fakt veľké prdeli, že to proste pôjde do riti. Čo si kokos?
No, because, you know, Filly is really a big part of their content. I mean, especially the Chunks and Filly show.
Toto tu, kamo, tá celá séria bude proste musieť skončiť. Lebo tento tu človek tam proste nebude môcť.
Like that podcast has just come up and it's, you know, started to do really well. And now this happens. I think it really comes down to how...
Sa mi páči, že ešte v jednom klipe sa mi páči, keď som videl napríklad na TikToku, bo tam sú furlíky, že proste dal ten Chunks. V jednom podcaste hovorili o týchto ľuďoch, čo proste chápeš, ženy, že to sú odpad a tak, a ten Young Filly, hej, je to, a proste teraz
much pressure their fans and the internet puts on them to say something. But honestly, only time will tell, and I'll make sure to keep you updated when he is scheduled to actually go back into court. But until then, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any updates, and I will see you very soon. Sorry. This week, while the world was focusing on the hurricane in Florida, it started flooding in the Sahara Desert. The amount of money that Yung Filly would have lost just over the weekend is starting to get crazy. Researchers are working on real-life Spider-Man web shooting technology, and according to this lawyer, celebrities have already started to pay alleged Diddy victims all to keep their names out of public court. All of that and more. Like the video to admit that KSI's new song has been stuck in your head at least once this week. And let's get... Woo! That's good. Woo! Stop it, Mr. Messi. Okay, let's start today off with an update on the whole Yung Filly situation, because it has got a lot worse. Now, honestly, this must have been the most expensive weekend of his entire life. Because just as we spoke about in the last video, creators and brands have started distancing themselves from Mr. Filly. Now, the first one that I saw was the Sidemen obviously removed their 20 versus 1 edition. That actually happened as I was recording the last video, which, I mean, had 42 million views. So that would have been a painful one to remove. The FA cancelled a new show that was going to have Filly cooking alongside other big Premier League players like Saka. His brand deals with ASOS have all been deleted. His sauce that he had with Heinz, that's been pulled. His clothing line with Perplex has been taken down. Foot Asylum announced that they are suspending their contract with Yung Filly with immediate effect. His dating show with Gymshark called Hit Off has now been unlisted. His first live show for the Chunks and Filly podcast has now been cancelled, and the producers of that show, Upload Productions, well, they said that they are pausing all and any work with Yung Filly. And I mean, to give you a sense of this, there are even articles being written for brands about advice of like what they should do now that Yung Filly's been arrested. I mean, I told you guys, Yung Filly, he was deep with the brands. And for someone his size, I don't even want to imagine how much money, just all of the things that I've listed, actually would have cost him just being dropped. And this is all before the verdict has even come out yet. Oh, and we haven't even started talking about the whole
Hej, ale akože je pravda, že lebo ešte to není úplne 100%, že to urobil, ale aj tak, kámo, on proste všetky spolupráce sú v prdeli, kámo, však on ty kokos, on že všetko, že jednou zlou reálne chybou, takto mu zmizli peniaze, všetko mu zmizlo, čo ti dávam, všetky spolupráce. Kámo, však on je v riti, keď to bude, že 100%. On je, a hlavne, kámo, chudáci tí, čo to nič s tým neurobili, jak napríklad Sidemen, Beta Squad a ostatní, čo s ním robili videá, že proste tie videá, čo mali 42 miliónov, 50 miliónov, 84 miliónov a tak ďalej, tie videá pôjdu do prdele. Že fakt do prdele pôjdu. Kámo, 42 miliónov pôjde len, že vieš čo, ahoj. Chápeš? Zedol, no. Nic si nezmeškal, sa stále bavíme o Yung Fillym. Kámo, čo ti dáva? Fú, chudák, no ale len tu je len pár minút o tom, takže toto pozrieme len.
Creator side of this thing too, because just like he was with brands, do you know how many creators like the videos that he's collabed with other channels? Now I do expect creators to be on the side of, you know, they're gonna wait until there is a verdict, but hypothetically, if that verdict is guilty, I mean, just like the Sidemen have already done, I think there's gonna be a lot of videos that just poof disappear, and it's going to be painful for a lot, because again, there's a lot of videos out here with a lot of views. I mean, I have no idea what's going to happen to the Chunks and Filly podcast.
Im sa darilo s týmto tu podcastom a on ten podcast povie, že takto.
Knows. But things only get crazier from there, because Filly is currently out on a $200,000 conditional bail until his next court date on the 19th of December. And just some of those conditions being that he's had to surrender his passport. So bro's not going anywhere.
Takže nejde nikde, Fian.
months. And I don't imagine the hotel that he's going to be staying in is very cheap. He has to frequently check in with police. He can't contact the alleged victim, and he is not allowed to comment about any of this on social media. Now, here's the thing. If he is found innocent, he will be able to return back to the UK and hopefully, continue with his career. But, I mean, at that point, I think a lot of the damage would have already been done. And imagine if that is the case, he will be majorly suing this individual for damages. But if he is found guilty, not only will pretty much every brand and creator never work with him again, destroying his entire career pretty much overnight, but it's likely that he would have to serve that sentence in Australia and not be extradited back to the UK.
Takže on, kámo, tak čo ti dáva? Aj, kámo, fú. Že proste, čo... Tým, kámo, tak chápeš? Pozri, toto zaujímavé, že ak sa ti proste môže jedna zlá chyba ako content creator zdrbať celá kariéra. Celá, že no je 3,2 milióna na Instagrame preč. 1,84 milióna na YouTube preč. Spolupráce preč. Spolupráce s content creatormi preč. Všetko len tak. Done. Tak keď bude guilty, tak to nič, no tak to je, vieš, tak to je v prdeli, tak to on je doslova, že v prdeli, on je totálne, že v prdeli.
Which
Úplne. No to je v prdeli, no to je v prdeli.
I would imagine would make it just that much worse for him. Now, this is not a certainty, but extradition back to the UK would typically not be considered unless there were very unique circumstances, like agreements from the governments together. Now, this is because the crime was allegedly committed in Perth, and legal proceedings for serious criminal offences like...
Že on len nie, že bude jakoby... Typek proste nie len, že stráti všetky spolupráce a tak ďalej. Typek reálne končí s celou kariérou a môže akurát tak robiť 9 to 5.
assault, well, they generally result in the convicted person serving time in the country where the crime allegedly occurred. Now, if we get any other major updates before his next court date, I will keep you updated, but...
Okay. Damn. Tak to je, how to say, to je v prdeli, no. Pre ňoho. Ale že fakt totálne, že v prdeli je to pre ňoho. Si predstav, že robíš, máš kariéru, fakt dobrú kariéru, daríš sa ti všade a ono to je jedným zlým môj názor na to, že ak je to pravda, tak Yung Filly je, kámo, jeden z tých najviac fake ass ľudí, kámo, akože máme veľa fake ass ľudí, že proste jak proste reagoval, alebo jak bol na kamerách, jak sa prezentoval, že ja som proste dobrý človek, tancujem si tu, bla bla bla. A potom, že vieš čo, ja som asi vlastne ten najhorší. No, čo už, to je život, no, jedno zlé rozhodnutie, asi v prdeli. Takže tak, Yung Filly, ty si, kámo, však to proste tam proste side mení. No, je to smutné a kámo, toľko ľudí na to reagovalo, že kámo, že sú šokovaní a tak z jeho kamaráto, že proste no, life is life, na life is imagine, že dostaneš sentence, že 5 rokov a potom jak skončí pas a ID, všetko môžeš vraciať sa na úrady a vybavovačky. Ak bude mať love, dovtedy sa môže vrátiť. Dosť je aj to, že on môže sa bailnout z jail, no. Sorry, nevidel som, bo som tam videl ičko namiesto L-ka. Namiesto ička som tam videl L-ko. No hej, ale kámo, on to z toho sa nedostane, však reálne keď spolupráce mu pôjdu 5, 100% nemu zoberú aj peniaze nejaké, spolupráce peniaze minus, YouTube peniaze minus a všetko proste minus. On nebude mať nič, čiže sa nebude jak mať dostať, ak sa mu fakt toto stane. No nič, proste on je v prdeli. $50 miliónov nedostane, za čo by dostal. Reálne maximálne, jak ho to zachráni, že toto všetko je fake a tá daný človek, čo dajme tomu, daný človek, ktorého on mal, že vraj toto, tak to všetko povedal, že vieš čo, len za to chcem, lebo on je známy, tak si z neho urobím prdel. Alebo je to fakt pravda a tento človek je v prdeli, kámo. Ale že totálne, ale prečo proste to tak robia, chápeš? Nerozumiem, no proste nerozumiem prečo hlavne v tomto roku sa toľko ľudí expozuje proste z písania k maloletým, proste Dobre, ideme ďalej.